Benny and Joon is one of those films that I think will have a little bit of something for everybody and will appeal to pretty much everybody's emotions. It's got an interesting mix because it's a comedy but it's a drama. There are elements of it that could be quite serious, but it's done in a way that's light-hearted enough for you to get the message without feeling kind of glum. It was released in 1993, directed by Jeremiah Chechik. I've almost definitely pronounced that incorrectly, and for that I apologise. And stars Johnny Depp, Mary Stuart Masterson and Aidan Quinn. And interestingly enough, although it's kind of being marketed as a Johnny Depp film, he plays neither Benny nor Joon. He plays a character called Sam. Joon is played by Mary Stuart Masterson, and her brother Benny is played by Aidan Quinn. Also, Julianne Moore is in this, and I love her, so that's always a bonus. The film itself, I'll read the description from IMDb. It's one sentence. I'll talk a little bit around it, but I won't give any spoilers. So if you haven't seen this, I definitely recommend that you do, but I won't spoil anything for you. So the description is as follows. A mentally ill young woman finds her love in an eccentric man who models himself after Buster Keaton. Buster Keaton obviously being a fantastic, great, iconic actor. Interesting to see Depp taking on these characteristics with the character of Sam. Very interesting. Benny and Joon, brother and sister. I think the film works most of all because the three characters, Benny, Joon and Sam, all have really fascinating personalities and they're a delight to watch. With Joon being mentally unwell, she requires constant care, and she lives with her brother, who becomes obviously her carer. We see a lot of their relationship together, the strains, the pitfalls, the benefits, moments when they're really close, moments when obviously things are not that easy, and it could get quite emotional, but there are little threads of humour constantly that just blend the more emotional drama with light-hearted comedy that makes it easier to watch than one might otherwise expect, and I think it's done that very beautifully. Then in comes Sam, and he's a great character, and I love the way he interacts with Joon. It's really interesting to see how Joon interacts differently with her brother Benny and with Sam. It's really fascinating for her as a character study. And we just have these three great, very well-rounded, very well-developed characters, very well acted, of course. And it's just an absolute joy to watch them interacting with each other, to watch them developing and growing as people, to watch their relationships change and often ebb and flow. It's a beautiful film. It's not my favourite. I'm never going to say that this is going to be the best film I've ever seen. And I'll be honest, just based on the description alone, had Johnny Depp not been in this, I probably wouldn't have watched it unless somebody had specifically suggested that I do. It's just not a film that would have been on my radar. To be perfectly honest, I don't know if I would have heard of it otherwise. Having said that, it's fairly well received. It's 7.2 out of 10, which is brilliant, but that's only across 55,000 reviews on IMDb, which for an IMDb review is not that many. So it's not the most well-known, but obviously it's well-known enough that a lot of people do hold this quite dearly, and it's clear to see why. We have some great set designs, we have, the soundtrack's really good, the costumes are brilliant, the performances are great. Depp specifically gives a brilliant performance. That's obviously something that I was looking for when watching this, but Mary Stuart Masterson obviously is brilliant, and so is Aidan Quinn. I thoroughly recommend this to anybody. I think no matter what kind of film you like, I think there will be something in this for you. Whether you're watching it for the narrative, for the characters, for the artistic aspect, it is a very creative film and very well done. Nominated for a Golden Globe, Johnny Depp was nominated for Best Performance by an Actor in a Comedy. He didn't win it, but that's irrelevant. His performance is still fantastic. Definitely worth a watch. If you haven't seen it, give it a go. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if it's what you think. Because I feel like just from the description, it's not what I would have expected. I think it's a little bit different to what I maybe thought it was going to be, but in a good way. Definitely in a good way. If you haven't seen Benny and Joon, give it a go. I'd say it's pretty decent.